What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Pod Scum. This right here, as you all know, is the podcast where we dive into the deep, dark, murky waters with a plethora of legendary guests. I am, of course, your host, your bastard of ceremonies, the #1 scumbag, Rex Ruger. That's REXXX. You might also know me as the King of Sleaze, a.k.a. the Hair Metal High Priest, and most importantly, this is serious now, a.k.a. Diamond David Lee Roth Jr. That's right. You are looking at the son of glam, the front man for the band. Just smoked a few grams. I got a million fans. I'm your ice cream man. Mr. Wop, Bop, Baloo, Bop, Wop, Bam, Bam, Shazam, hot damn. Feeling good? No doubt. Looking good, as is everybody in the house, including you all out there. For me, only one product gets me the quaff like Roth. Right there, kids. Use it. Coming to you, as always, from the Lavender Lounge of Love, and joined, as always, by the great Keith Hernandez Puppet. You know him. You love him. He helps me bring you the No Frills podcast. You don't get no frills, but you get rock star-sized thrills, and that's looking at this kisser. So you're welcome. And if you are looking at this kisser, please make sure you like and subscribe to the Pod Scum YouTube channel, and be sure to follow us on Facebook. Woo! I think I got my whole little preamble out of the way there. Great interview for you today. One that I'm very excited about, that I've been cultivating for a while. You know, it's a process, back and forth with guests. We all got lives. We all get busy. It's all about finding the time, making the time. And so I've been running this guy down for a while, man, and he's been busy. And a lot of exciting news on the forefront for him. And he's here now, so I'll let him talk about it. Let's get down to it and chop it up on my Pod Scum. Let's go. And there he is.
What's up?
What's up, buddy? Douglas Mitchell. First of all, Doug, right off the rip, man, because I'm a guy that likes AKAs as well. Why AKA MITCH, SLUG, McLEE? Where did that come from?
Well, I had a problem with Facebook.
Okay.
They wrote me at some point, like, gosh, maybe 6, 7 years ago. And evidently I had to change my name to my real name. I think somebody tried to hack my name or something, and something happened. So they made me use my legal name. I was on there at SLUG Mitchell forever. And then I got hit, so they made me change it. So it is what it is.
What is wrong with them over there at Facebook? I don't understand.
Well, I don't know. You got slash. Slash isn't slash.
Right.
You know, I mean, I don't know why. I think somebody hacked me or something like that. But
yeah.
Whatever.
So first of all, certainly exciting news about anything going on in the Marvelous 3 camp and all the things that are coming up. What's the impetus for, like, after all these years now, to get the Marvelous 3 thing fired back up again? Is that Butch coming to you guys? Is that all of you guys kind of saying, hey, let's do this thing again?
Well, it's always been in the works for like the last 3, 4, 5 years even.
Yeah.
And, Butch is a busy guy. I mean, he stays, recording, touring himself. So it's just finding the time to do it where we could all get together. And so he had, he had some songs put together a couple years ago. And he sent them to us during the 2020 thing when everything shut down.
Right.
And so it was just some demos and stuff. He said, you guys just listen to it. He said, it sounds like M3 stuff. I was like, cool. Yeah. So we listened to it, and then, it's the 25th anniversary of our Hey album record.
Yes.
Coming up. So that was an excuse to get together and do a couple shows. And at the same time, why not just put something out new and just have fun with it? No big expectations, just having fun with it,
Right. And because Butch is such a, as you mentioned, a busy guy, writes, produces, does a lot of stuff, such a prolific guy. When you guys get together to do new Marvelous 3 stuff, what's the creative process like? Is it collaborative, or because Butch is so prolific, does he take the reins on a lot of creative stuff, or do you guys have input as well?
No, we have a lot of input. He'll just send a basic idea, and then I'll sit there and listen to it and come up with my own things, and we bring it in, and it usually it flows. I mean, we played together for so long,
Right.
it just kind of it's a chemistry. I mean, it's hard to describe it, but and we do it all live. When we record in the studio, it's all done live. Really, not a lot of messing with the drums, a little bit here and there, but really, it just stays no quantizing or anything like that. It's pretty much straight up, you know,
the way it was meant to be.
Well, I love mistakes.
Yeah, sure. They had a little character and everything.
Yeah, it takes all the feel out of everything. When it's a computer, you don't know, you couldn't tell who's playing drums on that. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you listen to old school players that play, and you can say, "Oh, I think that sounds exactly like so and so." So
now you guys are gonna re-release "Hey" album, but I've heard rumors, and of course you can clarify this that you're gonna be putting out a new album.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Okay. So that's okay. So that's sort of in utero then, so to speak.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Good promises. So yeah.
When you look back at the career of Marvelous 3 and of course Butch, you know, when I'm getting together my notes and my bullet points, I found it very interesting, you know, when I'm collecting stuff to talk about. When you guys were on Elektra, you know, and I'm assuming you share Butch's sentiment as well, but he was very critical, going so far as to call them neglectra. You know what I mean? Because he didn't feel like you guys got the push from the record label. You sharing that same sentiment too? Do you feel like the record label kind of dropped the ball initially with you guys?
Most definitely. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a crazy story. We had like a 2-record deal with them. You know, we put out our first record, and you know, we had Freak of the Week. It went number 5 on the charts and did pretty well. Yep. And it was all gung ho. Everything was good. They put us in, you know, you go on the road, you support that record.
Yep.
Next thing you know, they're gonna throw you in the studio, do a second record. And we did the second record and went out on the road. And pretty much what I remember is that band. You remember Stained?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, they had that whatever. It's been a while. That one hit that just took off. They got signed to Elektra, so they started taking off. So all the kind of the attention kind of went to them. And so they were kind of dropping the ball and not promoting us like they were, and different things. And so they wanted to put us in and do a third record. Actually, they were ready to put us in, but we said, you know, screw it. The only way we could get out of our contract was to break up as a band, and so we actually beat the record system. We could have done another record, but they weren't putting the, you know, we didn't want to be in that, so we just pulled the plug and we had to break up. So we couldn't do a lot of music together for a long time under Marvelous 3 because of some legal situations.
Right. And so you know, and take me a little bit, you know, into you personally. What was your upbringing like? Like, how soon did you know that that the music business was going to be an avenue you were going to pursue at a young age? And was there an album or an artist or a song that really kickstarted this for you?
No, I just think growing up, I had 2 older sisters, and my oldest sister, her husband now, is a drummer. So I grew up being real young and watching him play drums. So I just that's pretty much what I wanted to do. I mean, I knew it from the beginning. And then I was just lucky enough to grow up in Rome, Georgia, near Cartersville, where I was from. And there was just nothing else to do but either play music or play football. And so we just found a, you know, good group of musicians and started playing, and pretty much I mean, we were playing clubs. Book and I were, by the time we were 17 years old, we were in like bars and stuff. It's like we'd go into school and it was like they could tell we had been out the night before. We had eyeliner running off of our eyes and stuff. It was like, you must have played last night. And yes, ma'am. And I got to go back down to Atlanta and play again tonight. It was like a Monday through Saturday gig, and we were going to school and doing that whole thing. So it was I knew, you know, I knew that's what we wanted to do because people always said, man, y'all need to just run with it. So Butch and I put together a band and moved to LA, and at 17, 18 years old.
And that was South Gang?
South Gang, yeah.
Yeah. And you had supportive folks, because I know sometimes, obviously, you know, I have friends with lots of parents whose kids come home and say, hey, my son or my daughter wants to take up the drums. Oh God, the fucking drums. You know what I mean? But you had supportive parents, because a lot of times that's a very polarizing instrument when
especially
you come home
the drums.
folks.
Yeah.
So your folks were supportive?
Yeah, they were because believe it or not, I wasn't a terrible kid in school. You know, I did my stuff, A, B's, maybe a C here and there.
Yeah.
And then Butch was the same way. And then we were both doing decent and musically. And so when it came to, you know, I graduated first, and then I had to wait a year for Butch to graduate. And then we knew right when he graduated, we were taking off to LA, and our parents were real supportive on it. You know, they didn't think it would last.
Right.
But it did. And they helped us out a lot. My dad gave me just a little amount of money to move out there, and they would send me stuff. But the only things they would send me, it wouldn't be money. It would be like laundry detergent.
Yeah, care packages.
So
yeah,
that's it. Yeah, care package. Yeah. So
canned goods.
They knew better. Yeah, they knew better.
That probably is smart, though. That probably is smart. I mean, you know, money's in California.
I thank them for that.
Yeah,
for sure.
And you know, you've been doing this a long time, so I hate to use the word influences, but are there drummers out there that you look at and say, you know, wow, when that guy plays drums, you know, I'll stop and listen. I'm a fan. Are there guys like that for you?
Yeah, man. Everybody's got their influence, I guess. Showing my age, of course, Neil Peart. I mean, the basics, you know, John Bonham. Everybody says that, but I mean, you can't beat it. You can't beat the truth.
Right. Those guys are mentioned for a reason. They're mentioned for a reason.
Yeah. Cozy Powell.
Yeah.
In Peace. You know, all those guys, man. They're really underrated drummers that didn't get a lot of attention. Those two guys, and of course, Tommy Lee. That whole. We were the whole Butch and I in South Gang. We were all about Motley Crue, Doc and Poison. That's what it was about. So that's kind of what I grew up on. And then my sisters being older, I actually liked a lot of 70s music. So that's where I like Deep Purple, Black Sabbath, all that kind of stuff too. So
and you know, you mentioned a couple minutes ago, you know, back in 2020 when kind of the wheels fell off and everything went fucking bananas with this COVID thing. What was that time like for you? You know, did that put a crimp or pull the plug on anything you had going at that time?
To be honest, what I do drumming wise now that I'm not playing the rock and roll thing, I play with a lot of churches.
Okay.
So I do a lot of churches, North Point Community Church and Buckhead Church here in Atlanta.
Okay.
And of course, you know, when all that happened, all the churches closed down for a long time. And fortunately, I'm a contracted player, and I count on a lot of things like that. So it shut down a lot. So I had to take on another job for a little bit longer. Yeah. And but that's about it, really.
I find that interesting. What do you mean when you say that you go? Are you like you know? So you're not a member of these churches, but you're going and playing in their bands?
No, I'm a member of the church, but
okay.
Yeah, it's a non-denominational. It's huge, you know, very contemporary, video screens, everything like that.
Cool
they
music.
Have like the musicians there are unbelievable, very professional. I mean, top quality musicians. They have probably 60 to 70 musicians that they rotate.
Wow.
So it's just a big thing, you know. But it's very cool. They're very good with the kids, my church. And I play for a lot of the student ministry. Yeah. And I think that's so cool because you really see those kids, their eyes light up, and you see you're changing their lives and stuff. Yeah. And it's a big impact.
Gratifying.
You know? Yeah, it's very cool. Very cool.
And you know, over the course of these years, you know, call it a hiatus or a sabbatical or whatever. But when Marvelous 3 wasn't doing stuff, Are you still staying in contact with Butch quite a bit? Because, you know, he has been very busy, and he's out there writing for, like, you know, a lot of huge pop and or rock stars. I mean, you know, he's really out there doing his thing. I mean, and plus doing his own solo stuff. How is your relationship maintained over all this time?
It's great. I mean, it's not just a band thing. We're like brothers. I mean, it's all three of us. I mean, we keep in contact through all this whole time. And you know, Butch would come through Atlanta every 2 or 3 times, and we'll get up there and jam a couple of songs. It's not like we broke up because we didn't like each other or somebody had a problem or something like that. We broke up because we had to get out of our record contract. And we were burnt out. I mean, we've been through, I was thinking about it the other day, we've been through so many reincarnations. I mean, before, you know, we went from South Gang, and then between the South Gang Marvelous 3, we had a little thing going called Floyd's Funk Revival.
Yep.
Or the Floyds, we went by. That was a whole nother reincarnation. And then we had Jace's ex-wife. She became pregnant, so she had to drop out of the band. And so we didn't want to quit. So that's why that's when the Marvelous 3 formed. So we had to keep going. We were like, you know. And then Jace even dropped out for a minute because he's like, man, I'm getting a family. I'm about to have a baby. I said, I got to get my act together. But he couldn't stand it. I mean, he loved it. We had another bass player for a short period of time. And Jace, you know, he just couldn't stand it. And we had to have him back. So,
but you know, so you raise a good point. You know, you're doing you know, for lack of a better word, a reunion show at the end of October, you know, down there in Atlanta. But is the plan to get out and do more live touring, or is that something that you guys are still rolling around?
We're just kind of rolling around, man. We really don't know what to expect. Like I said, when we put these shows on sale for the Tabernacle here in Atlanta, the first show, we were just hoping for a good sale. And it sold out within about 10 minutes or so. And it's like, okay, we had another show on reserve just in case something good would happen like that. And then the next day, they put another pre-sale, and it sold out. We were like, oh, good gosh.
But you make a good point. You make a good point, because when you said that Jace had to step away and start like a family, you know, I mean, are you guys all right now? I mean, obviously Butch is very committed to the rock and roll world or whatever. He's, you know, but you know, but like you and Jace, are you guys in a position, you know, to really roll this thing out and go do a lot of touring? And do you want to do that at this point in your life?
It really just depends on what comes our way. I really can't say yes or no, you know, to either way. I mean, if it was the right thing and everything goes the right way, of course. I mean, good gosh, who wouldn't, you know? Right. But I see what you're saying. I mean, we built up things here. You can't just drop the ball and just do a reunion show and then all of a sudden go out on the road for a year. You know, it's
right. Yeah. Is there a sense of when you guys do the show at the end of October? And I know you said that you guys will get together and stuff, and when Butch comes through town or whatever, but you know, because this has been built up so much, you know, is there a sense of nervousness at all?
Not really. I mean, there is a little bit. I mean, I've been doing the church thing. I've been still playing and stuff, but gosh, I haven't been on and done a full rock show.
Right.
23. Yeah. It's like training for a marathon. I mean, the kind of high energy show that we do, you know. Yeah. I mean, that was a long time ago, but I feel good about it. It's gonna rock. We got a lot of good things coming up with the shows and everything. And then we're doing the week after. I don't know if you knew this. We're playing in Chicago.
Oh, nice. Okay.
At the House of Blues, we got 2 shows there, a Thursday and a Friday night. So
yeah. And as the drummer of the band, and I don't want to impugn anybody else's role in the band, but drumming, you know, certainly people understand that, you know, you guys put on a high energy show, as you said. There is a lot of physicality to drumming. You know, as you've gotten, you know, older in life, have you noticed that your drumming has changed, or have you had to change anything about your drumming? You know, is it taking a few more Tylenol before the show? I mean, you know, like what's the preparation like now?
Well, it took 1 elbow surgery.
Yeah,
I've had a surgery a couple years ago, and then a little shoulder pains here and there. I mean, you can't can't swing them quite as high.
Right. Right.
And a lot of our songs are real up tempo. You know, we were punk pop, power pop rock.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fast stuff. But yeah, man, I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah.
Just I've been, you know, playing a lot and going to the gym, getting on the bike and doing things like that. So
it's like it is. It's like training for like it's like training for an athletic event. You're right.
It really is. It really is. So it's you know, I'm 54 right now. So it's just had my physical. Everything's good.
Yeah. I just turned 50. I just turned 50 at the beginning of this year too, and I don't know, for some reason turning 50, man, like seemed to bother me more than 40. I don't know why, but you know, everyone will come up and tell you that age is just a number or whatever, but that's easy for people to say that are a lot younger than you.
Exactly. I feel like that at 40 things change a little bit.
Yeah.
And then at 50 things change a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it sucks, man. You know, I like to think I have a lot of years left, but you do inadvertently, you start thinking about your own mortality a little bit, though. You just do, you know, I mean.
Yeah. And the thing is, I wish I would have thought about it earlier in life, you know, just up there, just swinging in my ears, just with wedges, like blaring, you know, Butch's guitar, my drums blaring me out. And now everybody's on in-ears. So now it's good. But yeah, I wish I would have known that, because I've definitely lost hearing.
Now, when you see where the music industry is now with all these streaming platforms and all this stuff, and you know, obviously, like, this is where we are now. Like, this is where, you know, the music industry is at the time. Do you like all the changes? Because you know, obviously a lot has changed, you know, since you guys were actually putting out albums. You know, you were on a label. You know what I mean? There were big record contracts back then, and now I talked to a lot of musicians on here. It really is feast or famine. It's a lot of grinding it out on the road, hoping you can sell a few T-shirts. I mean, you know, do you like the changes in the music industry?
That's just funny you asked that. I was writing Butch this morning. We were texting, and I was telling him how much different it is for me. Not him as much, because he's put out records and stuff like that on Spotify. Right. But for me in general, I don't know a lot about this Spotify, Apple. I've learned a little bit about it, but it's a whole new adventure for me. You know, this whole platform thing. It's kind of weird. You know? Yeah,
it's weird to me. I just leased a brand new car, and they're not even putting CD players in them anymore.
I know. I know, dude. What do you do? Yeah. So
I mean, that just boggles my mind. I mean, it's all just and now it's not even really hooking up the phone. It's just kind of saying, "Hey Siri, play this song for me," and it just kind of happens.
It's weird, because I was telling somebody the other day, even on like cable and stuff, like television, you got to think about it. Back in the 80s and stuff, you had to pay for like HBO, Showtime, all those, and it was expensive. Now you pay any streaming thing for so-and-so, you can see anything you want.
Yeah, at any time. Yeah.
It's ridiculous, man.
And now with all the changes, you know, that I just mentioned, you know, with the platforms, you're seeing a lot of people now getting back to like, I don't know. I always attribute this to people's, you know, dwindling attention spans. But it seems like people aren't putting music out there, you know, a large volume of it, because people aren't consuming large volumes of it. A lot of people are doing singles, or they're doing EPs. If you guys were to release an album, you know, do you guys still have that old school mentality, like to do an actual LP? Or is this not something you guys have even discussed yet or gotten to that point yet?
Yeah, we've discussed it. And let me just tell you, kind of pay attention to the media in the next week.
Okay. Okay. I will do that. I'm always locked into what you guys do. I'm a huge fan. You know,
I think you'll like it. You'll like it.
Yeah.
Just pay this next week. We got a lot to announce.
And I've even been plugged in and been a huge fan of all the stuff that Butch has done, even on his own. I mean, I just think he's one of the most stuff. Yeah. I mean, he's just one of the most prolific guys. And, you know, the songs are always just, you know, so quirky and so upbeat and so catchy. Yeah. He's just a guy that knows how to write a song that stays with you, you know?
Exactly. He's always had that pop kind of feel.
Yeah.
to him. I always say he's the king of the oohs and the ahs.
Yeah.
He's got that whole thing down, and it's great.
I know Freak of the Week is probably the song that resonates the most with people that they remember the most, but I'm a big Cigarette Lighter Love Song guy. That's my jam.
Me too. Yeah,
that's my jam.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
You'll like the new stuff.
Yeah. I realize you gotta stay tight-lipped on some of it because you got to keep the lid on some stuff. I mean, but I get that.
I don't know what to do. I'm just running with it.
I know. It's tough. It is very tough to do that. And so when Butch rings you up and gets this whole thing going, is there a reason that he points to or cites to say like, hey, this is a good time, 2023, to do this? Is this something that's been in the works for a while, or is this something where Butch just calls you up and says, hey, like, why don't we do this?
Well, like I said, it's the 25th anniversary of the Hey album.
That's big. Yeah, that's big. Yeah.
So that's the whole reason we're doing the shows. It was an excuse, and then it's a good excuse. Why not put out some new material? Yeah. So that's kind of what we're thinking.
And are you in your own personal life, how do you consume music? I mean, obviously you said that the platforms are kind of foreign to you. It takes some getting used to. Are you like a vinyl guy? Are you a CD guy? I mean, you're a vinyl guy.
It was absolutely. I've got probably 800 plus vinyl.
Yeah,
and I started collecting. Of course, when I was younger, I was doing vinyl, but then I started collecting. Gosh, it must have been, I don't know, mid 2000s. I mean, you could buy really good records for like $2.
Yeah.
And then everybody jumped on the thing, and now it's huge again. But so I was collecting I've been collecting for a long time, but I love vinyl records. It's just the warmth and no compression. It's great.
Yeah, I get that. Now, I know you got to treat them all. I've talked to so many musical artists who say, the songs, the albums, they're all like your individual children. But, you got Math and Other Problems, Hey album, Ready, Sex, Go. Do you have a favorite one?
I like Math and Other Problems.
Yeah, I do too.
And I like Ready, Sex, Go. I like Hey album, but I like Ready, Sex, Go. I think because I'm I don't know, big rock. I like the big rock sound, and being a drummer, I think I just go towards that kind of feel. And and I like the first record because I feel like it was really punk kind of sounding, like even Elvis Costello-ish a little bit. I mean, it just had a cool vibe,
Yeah.
So and I just remember recording that thing. It was like in a little room off of somewhere in Atlanta, Ponce or something, but just good memories from that first record.
And Georgia's always had a great music scene. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's always been popping down in Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because when we were younger, when we moved to LA at 17 or 18, I guess 1988, end of 88, nothing was happening in Atlanta. And then as soon as we left, everything started, all these bands from Atlanta, Jackal and Black Crows, I mean, they all started taking off. So once we left Atlanta, it seemed like Atlanta became a big music scene. And then we caught the LA scene right at the end of it, the end of the 80s when Guns N' Roses and, that's the time period. And all that was going out. So Southgang was probably the last band to get signed of all the hair bands.
What I like to think of as the good old days.
It was great, man. Gosh, on Sunset Strip, like in the late 80s, it was chaos, and it was.
But I'll tell you what, though, man, people will try to impugn and run down those, as you mentioned, for lack of a better term, the hair metal bands. But a couple weeks ago, and I'm in upstate New York, but Def Leppard and Motley Crue and Alice Cooper just swung through town, and I went to see them. And guess what? They can still pull in 20,000 people. People love those songs. They still resonate with you. Like when you write a great album, like Def Leppard writes Hysteria, or Girls, 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 or I mean, those bands wrote great songs. That's why they're still here. I mean, you can say what you want. In the 80s, it did seem like it was a little more style over substance. It was how big you could get your hair and how much makeup you could get on.
Exactly.
But when you scratch under the surface, though, there really were great songs and great musicians there.
Yeah. Yeah. You just got to scratch real hard.
You got to scratch. Yeah, you got to. Yeah, you definitely got to do some
because there
scratching.
was so many of them. Yeah,
there was a lot. There was. Did you guys feel like when you went out there as South Gang that maybe you got there towards the tail end of the '80s and you were like a little bit too late and just missed the boat on it by a little bit?
You're exactly right. I mean, we've always said we've been on the end of it, and our timing has been terrible, but at the same time, it worked out okay because luckily our old band South Gang didn't get too big. And because some bands that get really big, they can't do anything else because everybody wants them to go back to South Gang. Does that make sense?
Right. Yes.
So we were able to overcome South Gang, and some people didn't even put it together that the three of us were in South Gang. I mean, some A&R people and everything. So we were kind of lucky that we didn't get as that popular in South Gang,
But the one thing that I liked about the '80s music. And again, I mean, people might look at it as it was kind of frivolous. It maybe didn't lack a lot of substance. It was about a lot of, good times and fun and everything. But when that period ended and grunge kind of came in and it was a little bit darker vibe or whatever, what was your take on that whole grunge movement? Did you like any of the bands that came out of there? Because you guys are, I consider Marvelous 3, as you said, power pop, certainly a lot of very fun, fun-loving type of songs or whatever, anthemic type choruses, just very fun music. Did you like when that darker music swept in?
I like some of it. I wasn't a big Nirvana fan, but I did like Pearl Jam, and I liked like Soundgarden. I liked it, but I was kind of pissed off at the same time.
Yeah,
because I feel like they pulled the carpet.
The party's over.
Party's over. But then we started over, and in the '90s we were doing the Floyd's funk thing with Jason, Butch, and myself, and Jason's ex-wife Christina. And that was fun, but man, we were doing probably 250 plus shows a year in a van and a trailer. All over the place. And I think that took a toll on all of us. And then, like I said, we got a second chance with Marvelous 3, and it all got better again, back on a bus.
Yeah.
And so it's been 23, 24 years. So I'd love to do it again.
Are you somebody that likes, even back when you did it before, are you somebody that likes touring? I know a lot of times, as you said, spending time in a van or a bus, in and out of these clubs, away from home for weeks and months at a time, kind of a nomadic, kind of lifestyle, does that appeal to you, or are you a homebody by nature and kind of like the creature comforts of home?
Kind of the creature comforts from home because there's so much downtime.
Yeah.
On the road. Really, you're doing radio stuff and things like that and meet and greets and but man, all the downtime is just, and you're waiting for the show,
You're waiting for those you're waiting for those 2 hours, right?
Yeah. Otherwise you're sitting around doing whatever you do,
Yeah.
But I remember being on tour last Marvelous 3 tour. I ended up buying a bike, putting it in the bay of the bus. So every city I went into, I'd take out my bike.
Yeah.
Go to coffee shops, just find something to do,
Sure. Yeah. Are there bands out there right now? Because there's such an influx of music. I had somebody on here the other day that told me a crazy stat. Like there's like 60,000 new songs being put up on these platforms every single day. Now this is just songs, So there's so much new music to slog through. It's certainly like it's certainly not a slow period in terms of the amount of music that's out there. It's just getting through all of it because now people can do it right from their computers. And there's so many ways to make songs and make music now. But are there any bands or any acts out there like right now that you're particularly kind of flying the flag for that you like? Or are you one of those guys when you have time to listen to music? I'm guilty of this sometimes too, and the podcast has helped make me a little better about it. But I'm one of those guys where if I've got an hour or two where I can listen to music, I'm kind of stuck in a time warp. I listen to older shit.
Too.
I'm trying not to be that guy.
I'm the same way, man. Yeah, I'm the same way. There's not a lot that does a lot for me these days. I don't know what it is. I do like Foo Fighters and stuff like that, but I think everybody does.
Yeah. It's kind of like Dave Grohl's become like that guy now, in music. He really
is. Yeah. Do you like the Foos?
Love them. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love him. Yeah.
But
And plus, Dave Grohl, you had a nice advantage because he had that plugged in audience from when he was in Nirvana. So that kind of helped too. You know, I mean,
right. So yeah, I mean, not a lot of new bands that I can really think of that I'm into right now.
I know. I feel like such a shit when I do that. In the podcast, I've been doing it now for a little over a year now, and I have tried to reach out to bands that are kind of up and coming if I hear something that I do like and kind of give them that platform. But I must admit, I'm getting a little better about it. But yeah, I'm that stuffy old codger that just says, hey, I'm going to go listen to my 80s shit. I've got some time to listen to music for myself right now, and I'm going to fall back on what makes me happy, you know?
Exactly right.
It's just what we do, you know? We're creatures of habit, you know? I mean...
Yeah. You only got so much time. Listen to what you like.
Yeah. Now, do you get to go out... Now, I know you're playing with the churches, and obviously, you know, it's exciting that you're going to be doing Marvelous 3 stuff again. But, you know, in your everyday normal life, are you somebody that gets out to a lot of live shows?
Here and there, maybe probably a month. I'll probably get to 3 or 4.
Yeah,
a month. But there are a lot of local acts.
Are they big shows or are they more like smaller club shows? Do you like the big arena shows?
No, smaller clubs.
Yeah, they're so goddamn
expensive. Just old friends. Yeah, a lot of old friends that I've known forever here in the music scene. So, yeah, I try to go see those guys and support them.
Plus, a lot of these big concerts, you got to take out a second mortgage on your house just to afford a friggin' ticket. I mean, it's crazy.
Man, I'm not going to go unless I can get in free and some kind of pass. I can't do it, man. You know?
You figure by the time you go there and you get a T-shirt and you pay for parking and your ticket and all this stuff. Yeah, I mean, you know, you're down a couple $100. I mean, it's crazy.
I mean, it's ridiculous what they were selling our tickets for eventually.
Yeah.
I don't know how the ticket things work, but it's I don't like it.
Well, you remember back in the 90s. You remember back in the 90s, there Pearl Jam kind of tried to take Ticketmaster to task. Remember, and it didn't go so well for them.
Right. But it's just too much money, I think.
It's a lot of price gouging. It really is. Yeah.
But I guess there's going to be tickets.
I was going to go a couple months back to see the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and I just couldn't get I couldn't get away from the fact that the tickets were $75, which I thought, wow, that's great to see such a legendary band like that. But then Ticketmaster imposes this $30 handling fee that now drives this ticket up over $100, and I'm thinking, what are they handling? I'm printing this ticket off myself, right? Or I have it on my phone. Like, what are they doing for me outside of brokering this deal? You know, I mean,
Yeah, man. It's I remember the days of camping outside the record store waiting on tickets.
Yeah.
You know, that was first come, first serve. You know, I remember getting front row tickets to Kiss on the Animalized tour.
Yeah.
I came out of that store going, I got front row tickets. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah. It's so funny you bring up Kiss because I talk to more musicians on here, you know, who cite them as an influence or who say that they were kind of like their gateway into rock and roll. They've really had a huge influence on people, Kiss. Say what you want about them, but they really have.
Oh, that was my first big thing. My first record was Kiss Alive. And that just
what was it that got them about you? Like, was it the paint? Was it the mystique? Was it the songs? Was it all of it?
Well, I think being a young kid, I was only, 6 years old, maybe, or something. But looking at the album cover going, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And then my sisters were listening to the music. So and their songs are so easy and catchy. It's easy to get them locked in your head, especially as a kid.
Yeah.
You know, and it just became my go-to. And so I got every vinyl and all kinds of Kiss.
Is it a little narcissistic when they go on a 6-year fucking farewell tour though? That's a little
I don't like them now. Yeah, I'm kind of over them now. Really, I'm kind of getting pissed.
Yeah.
They're ruining themselves. You know, they should have hung it up and just went out with a good note. Now people are pissed at them, and you know, they're getting, you know, tracking whatever, you know, accused of track and stuff like that. So it's kind of crazy.
I'm glad you brought that up. Where do you stand on that? Because McLEE is another band that caught a lot of shit this past year about backing tracks and, you know, these little smoke and mirror. I'm not a musician myself, but whatever smoke and mirror tricks that they do behind the scenes. When a band reaches a certain status, you know, i.e. a Kiss or a McLEE, you know, do you give them a pass with that stuff, or do you think it should always be the genuine live article when you go see somebody?
Well, I think they can fill it in with like strings or things like that, or you know, certain really percussive things like that. But I think overall it should be as live as you can make it. You know? But I do, being a drummer, I do like the fact that I am playing to a click track. Yeah. Because before, when we used to tour, it was like on 10. We were as fast as we could go. Yeah. This way I know it's going to be the same. So, you know, I kind of like that because I feel comfortable with the click. So, yeah.
Now, this usually winds up being one of my more polarizing questions of the interview. But if I drop Douglas Mitchell, a.k.a. Mitch Slug McLEE, onto a deserted island and he can only take one album with him, what's the album? Do you have one? Your desert island pick. You're going to die with this album now, Doug. You remember that now. I don't know how the hell you're going to play it unless you've got a solar-powered record player. But let's just say, for argument's sake, you do.
Okay, you can call me Slug.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. Good gosh, that's a hard one, man.
Yeah. I like how he's deliberating, though, taking this very seriously. Some guys just roll out an answer very quickly, but then I like guys who think a little bit, because I do think that if you're going to really be someplace with one piece of music, that it really must be something that can take you through your gamut of emotions. Because I don't know that I'd want to be on a desert island myself and just have heavy or soft all the time, you know?
That's why I was thinking Led Zeppelin 4.
Yeah, okay.
Just because it's got a lot of ups and downs. Yeah. And, some rocking, then it's got, you know, Going to California and Battle Evermore. It's got all those kind of nice chill stuff. So maybe that one. Yep.
I really appreciate you doing this, man. I know that we've kind of been cultivating this and going back and forth for a while, which everybody's so busy with their lives or whatever. I knew we'd eventually get a chance to make it happen, but I appreciate you staying with me, man, and actually seeing it through and making it happen. You know, you're somebody that I've had on my radar for a while that I really wanted to do this with, because I am such a big fan. So I'm glad we found the time to do it, and I really appreciate you doing it.
Well, I appreciate you sticking with me. I know scheduling been crazy, but thank you. Thank you.
That's not a problem. And, you know, when I put the episode up, I'll send you the link. Feel free to share it wherever you'd like, if that's your thing or whatever. But and hopefully we can keep in touch, and when things get cooking again, we can do it again, I hope.
Yeah, keep an eye out this next week.
I will. I'm excited. That's a nice little teaser right there for the fans out there.
Man.
You know?
Cool,
and people are watching, man. You know, I am seeing a lot of stuff on social media. There is a buzz, there is an excitement, and I think a lot of it, you know, is certainly, you know, what's old becomes new again. People are excited when albums get re-released, and when bands that we haven't seen for a while come back. You know, it's a very exciting time. It does wonders for the music world. It really does. I'm glad to see you guys back.
I appreciate that, man. It's going to be a fun time.
I'm looking forward to it. Slug, thanks so much, man. It's been great talking to you, man. I appreciate the time. I really do, man. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. Take care.
Later, brother. Bye-bye. There he goes, folks. That is, and sorry, I was trying to help remove him from the room so it would be an easier process for him, which I myself just learned how to do on Google Meet, how I can help somebody exit the room. See that? You're always learning in the podcast world. That's the beauty of it. That was Douglas Mitchell, a.k.a. Mitch Slug McLEE, a.k.a. just call him Slug. Drummer for the Marvelous Three. Huge news that they are on the comeback trail. And it is fucking exciting, man. Of course, Jace, Slug, and the third component, the great Butch Walker, who writes, produces, has a phenomenal solo career, one of the more prolific guys out there. So this is an exciting time. Of course, people remember Freak of the Week. Math and Other Problems came out in 1997. Hey Album, 1998. Ready, Sex, Go, 2000. And then they called it quits, as you heard, to get out of their contract with Elektra, who Butch Walker famously called Neglectra, because they weren't giving them the push that they so richly deserved. But that's all right. The boys fucking showed them. Ha! But the good news is that they are back. They announced in April of this year a reunion, a re-release of Hey Album. a big show down there in Atlanta on October 27th. Hopefully new music will be in the works, and hopefully more shows. Lots more shows, I would hope. Very exciting time, though, to have them back. So, you know, go pull out your Marvelous 3 albums, dust them off, get re-familiar with them if you haven't listened to them in a while, man, and get ready to rock balls again with the fucking boys, man. I mean, hey, you know, it's great to have them back, man. It's always exciting when stuff is percolating in the music world, and there's a big announcement, or you know, as I said, you know, stuff that was old becomes new again. It's exciting. We're all kind of nostalgic, you know, in nature. Always great when our old favorites come back, man. And it's an exciting time, man. You know, I wish them all the luck in the world. You know, you heard SLUG say that the show sold out in a matter of minutes. It's exciting. People love Butch. People love SLUG. People love Jace. I mean, you know, what's not to love, man? One of the greater power pop bands out there, man. Catchy songs, catchy hooks. You know, what else can be said? Marvelous 3, fantastic fucking band. So glad to have them back, and so glad that I finally got to catch up with SLUG and actually get a chance to do this. We've been chit-chatting for a long time. Glad we finally got to make it happen. Salute to him for helping to make it happen, and I hope you guys enjoyed that episode as much as I enjoyed talking to SLUG. That was a fucking fun one. And remember, guys, until we get together and we do this thing again, and we will do it again, please remember to take it easy and keep it sleazy.